Okay, so I have this idea. So recently I've been researching and learning about convolution reverb, and it's a very interesting concept. It basically is a technique that allows you to recreate a room's reverb as a plugin. And so it had me thinking, I go to a music college which has some very acoustically pleasing sounding rooms. So I was thinking, why don't I try to capture some of those really nice sounding rooms on campus and create a plugin for myself to use. And the idea is pretty simple, you basically go to a space, set up a stereo pair or, whatever kind of microphones you have, and usually you would do a full sine sweep from 0 to 20K or something and record that and then deconvolve it and all that. But for that you need a speaker and a pretty accurate reference microphone, and while these are good microphones, they're not exactly that. The other way, the much more simple way, which still yields results that will be just fine for purposes like music production, which I'm trying to achieve here, is to simply either pop a balloon or just clap in the space, which produces roughly white noise, which covers the entire frequency spectrum. Can't get this damn cable in the bag. But yeah, basically I'm going to go around. I have 1 or 2, maybe 3 ideas of areas that I'd want to record the reverb of. The space I most badly want to record may not be available, but we'll see. It's the performance hall on campus. I'm not sure. It shouldn't be busy right now. I don't know why it would be. But I also don't want to look sketchy setting up mics and stuff, but we'll see. I'm going to go head out. Okay, so now I have both of the mics set up. Alright, so I'm going to assume that this gain level is probably fine. We're going to do a test run and see if everything's good. Both mics are set up, and they're set to omnidirectional mode, and they're just sort of facing the corners of the room, spaced a couple feet apart from each other. I'm going to go ahead and hit record here, and go do some clapping. One more important thing to note is you want to make sure that your clapping is equidistant from both of your microphones so you don't run into any sort of phase issues when you sum them to mono. Looks like peaking a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and turn it down just a tad. We'll go to about there, should be safe, and we'll go ahead and record our real reverb tails here now. So I'm going to go ahead and give a few good claps here and we should be good. First you got to wait for the room to become completely silent. I'm going to do one from the front of the stage. Don't think it should really change, but we'll see. Trying to find like a good sweet spot. We'll do that. And we'll go about here again. Alright. And that looks like a perfectly reasonable level for those claps there. So I think I'm going to wrap this up and go record the next location I want to. Okay, so it's been a few weeks, and I've just been really busy. I was not able to record any other spaces, but the one space we did get does sound pretty good. So I don't actually have the project where I ended up doing the processing for this, but all you really need to do is you bring the right and the left channels in into, I used FL Studio. You can use whatever reverb, or sorry, whatever audio editor you'd like to, and trim it down, right? So right before the transient and until the reverb tail sort of dies off. And then if you need to, you can EQ out any humming or hissing that you don't want that will just get in the way of the sound and not make it any better. After you do any processing you need, you basically just export it as a stereo file. It should be like a second long. I guess it depends how big the room is and how long the tail is. You can export a few different transients if like your claps sound different, or if you're using a sine sweep, you should only need one. But so I ended up with two different impulses that I exported here, which are, they sound pretty similar. One is a little darker of a clap and the other one is a little lighter. Just depends on how you clap, I guess. So that's what these sound like. And then this one just sounds a little bit different. Anyway, that's all the processing you have to do. And then in terms of using it in like a VST sort of situation, all you need to do really is open up your DAW, whatever one you use. I use FL, and you go to your plugins, and you're just going to open your DAW's convolution reverb. Some come with them, some don't. Most should come. In Fruity, it's called Fruity Convolver. Let me put on my headphones here so I can hear this. And all you're going to want to do in Fruity, it's different for everyone, but for this one, you go File, and then Load Sample, and then I just have a, this is where it's going to open your default. I have mine saved on my SSD, and impulse responses, and then you just open the file you want, right? So there it is inside the DAW. And the way you want to set this up is, let me get a guitar real quick. Hi, I know I don't look any different, but I was noticing that while I was throwing all this shit into my editing software that, the screen recording didn't record any of the audio from FL Studio, so I'm doing this again, and my solution is to just record into FL. But anyway, got my guitar here. It's my $99 Strat. Love this piece of shit. And basically, the way you want to set this up, the way you want to set any reverb up, is you have your instrument going into one track, so I have that going into insert 1 here, and then you're going to route that over to this one, and have your reverb in a separate bus, so you can process it separately. But you got your reverb here. We're going to turn the dry all the way down, because this is our just dry, or our just wet, this is our just dry. And we're going to just leave it how it is, and reverb. And now, I know you guys don't know what the CFL sounds like unless you go to Luther, but that sounds pretty damn close to how the actual space sounds, which is really cool. But yeah, so, I mean, we can do whatever we want to this reverb. We could EQ it, because we got probably a good bit of mud going on in the bottom, and sounds good. We can throw a little bit of saturation on it, usually what I like to do with reverbs. Helps it cut out of the texture a little more. With this one we have a gain compensation. I can't think of the term right now. It's that simple. We got our impulse, you load it into here, and sounds like the real place, you know, or pretty damn close. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So now you have a reverb that you can use that sounds very similar to a real space in real life that you might like the way it sounds, and you can do that to pretty much any space. I could do it with this dorm room if I wanted to. I probably wouldn't because it sounds like shit, but I could if I wanted to, and that's awesome. Thanks for watching, I guess, and I'm going to try to use this in the EP somewhere. That's kind of all I wanted to do. I just wanted to bring you guys along with this experiment of mine. And, yeah, I think it turned out pretty well.